Yes, indeed, y'all. Yes, indeed. Welcome to UDR Productions. Please like, subscribe, and share. It doesn't cost you nothing to subscribe, so we can keep bringing you guys all this good content from prayer to streets. UDR Productions. Let's go and let's get it.
DJ Underdog.
What's up, y'all? Good evening. You're listening to your boy MVP, most valuable poet, the proud lion, the radical black Puerto Rican man of God from the Bronx where life started. Currently reside in Bridgeport, CT. Now, before we get into tonight's promos and discussions, I want to first and foremost give all the honor and glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, main God. I love you. Thank you for this opportunity to bring us out here to the forefront. We have to honor you first, because without you, nothing happens. That goes without saying. Now, before we get to tonight's topic, I want to share a little something that, shout out to Murphy's Law, that they did. My man Hawk had laminated a cool picture of 2021 with my picture that was up front, which I think that's dope, man. Shout out to Murphy's Law, shout out to Hawk. And he also did one for my boy Dog, which I think is fabulous for 2021. So I just want to just acknowledge that. And then once again, East Coast Porn. If you're looking for jewelry, technology, electronics, clothing, any kind of accessories, go to East Coast Porn's Lawn on 76 Norwood Avenue, Bridgeport, Connecticut 06610. And once again, I want to shout out and give my acknowledgement to the subscribers who has been supporting, who has been listening. And I pray that you guys have been inspired by subscribing to UDR Productions Go Love Team. Like and share UDR Productions Go Love Team. Support your boy MVP, most valuable poet. Because like I said, man, this is a whole new, different element that, in spite of all that's going on, because I'm not going to use the pandemic as an excuse for why we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. No, we're going to think out the box and maneuver and figure out different ways to get the point across for what's being conveyed. So, with that being said, I want to introduce to you guys my brethren, the School Amazing guest. I want him to introduce himself, and then we're going to get the conversation from there. Introduce yourself, sir.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Simba. That's Simba, Haley, I Selassie, son, straight out the Virgin Islands, you know what I mean, here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Hitting it up with my boys, them, you know what I mean? We here live, we gotta get copying, you know what I mean? Like we do it.
Yeah, Bridgeport, you know what's so beautiful about Bridgeport? It's diverse. You got backgrounds from Puerto Ricans to Africans to Nigerians to Southern to Portuguese, Brazilian. Like, it's diverse, it's beautiful. Yet you still see little pockets in different areas there. No, we have to come together as one body of Christ, and unite against the oppression of what's going on in our society. And speaking of the oppression, one of the alarming concerns that I have, and I still have, and I've been speaking about this from previous shows, so it's not like nothing new, but something that just happened this past weekend was there was a big shooting that happened over at Mango's. Now, I don't know what happened as far as why it started or what led to, but it grieves my spirit to see young people, young adults getting killed merciless. They getting just gunned down disproportionately. And I'm saying to myself, why does this violence continue to occur when there's a lot going on as it is? And yet you got folks adding on and contributing to these problematic concerns that's still happening right now. And what kills me is the fact that you got people saying, oh, we need to go and fix other neighborhoods and fix other communities. No, fix your immediate surroundings, fix your own communities that's in your immediate cipher. Right. So until you do that, don't come over and say, oh, we need to go clean up other people's messes. No, clean up the mess that's going on here. So I want to start off with that introduction, and I want you to tell me what your thoughts is, and let's go from there.
Yeah, man, because I mean, like, the government need to do some more, like our local representatives need to come in and do some more outreach in the community. You know what I mean? Give people a chance to try to better themselves. You know what I mean? like the gun violence. I'm not trying to say everybody's clean, you know what I mean? Everything pops out eventually. But at the end of the day, we are brothers and sisters in sight of the Most High. You know what I mean? So we need to come together as one.
I think for me though, what it comes down to is that if we're focusing so much on politicians and government to like really fix what's going on in our community, then as people that live in this neighborhood that knows a lot more than the government as per se, if we're relying on that, then obviously folks here in your community have missed the mark because you know more and have more knowledge to what's going on in your neighborhood than the government that's just overseeing based off what the demographic is showing. But they don't know more than the people that live in that environment. But people need to speak up and speak out and rally around the atrocities that's going on in our society. Because right now, at the rate that young people's getting killed, it's unacceptably wrong.
Yeah, the young people dying faster than the older people these days, man.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? That shit ain't right. A lot of kids growing up without dads and moms and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, it's struggles out here and stuff. By the end of the day, we's all black people. We's all minorities in the community and stuff. You know what I mean? We supposed to be like, man, let's do this together. Because we really have all the oppression in us already as a people in the struggle, brothers in the struggle together. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, even though, you could be able to out somebody and stuff, you know what I mean? Think about what his son gonna do when he have a dad. What the little girl will do with her dad in there no more. When you locked up and you can't see your mom home crying for you and stuff. You know what I mean? There's all the ways to end the violence and stuff, but it starts in the community as one.
The Bible says that love your neighbors and love yourself, and it doesn't get any more clear than that. People complicate matters because of what's been taught to them by those who don't embrace and accept people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different languages, different traditions, different customs, because they've been taught that if you look different from me,
I must hate you.
Not just necessarily black and white only, because people of color have been prejudicial towards each other. Light skin, dark skin, straight hair, nappy hair is unacceptable. And people made it complicated because they don't want to believe the truth of what God says. Love your neighbor, should love yourself. You have to continue to encourage each other and accept each other and embrace each other and say, look, you know what? Your struggles is my struggles. Not meaning that the struggles are exactly the same way, but this is a struggle in itself as far as the battle that lies ahead that people are trying to overcome on a daily basis. So it's important to really listen. Because a lot of times folks don't want to just take the time and sit down and listen and just hone in on what the battles is going on at a person's life on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is sometimes, because I mean, that's how community is to a whole degree too. Because I mean, as you go to your days and stuff, ain't too much really going on. And when the idle hands are idle, that's when the most violence will come. Because you got nothing else to do but just sitting down and think about how you're going to out somebody else.
And I think it's our job to encourage and be that voice to raise that child. Because I remember growing up back in the days from the Bronx, I remember growing up was a lot of people getting involved. Man, like, let's say if your parents was going to work and you was outside acting like a fool, you had someone that was from down the block, from off the block, say, yo, hold up, Fulano, what you doing? Bro, I know you, I know your moms, I know your pops, why you getting out of order? Matter of fact, I'm going to make sure that you don't get out of pocket. I'm going to make sure your parents know what you did before you even get home. Now everybody just want to just, be do and just mind their own business and just be disconnected, disengaged. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to get involved because there's a lot of backlash and resentment from someone that doesn't know what's really going on in itself and not understanding why people are trying to help out as far as involved. And it should never ever take a crisis like the pandemic. It should never take a crisis of someone that was close to home that you may not know to then say, oh, now let's come together. That's meaningless. Why they gotta be something tragically sad to come about to then say let's unite? That to me is disingenuous. To me, that's just nothing but a phase. You're supposed to embrace and celebrate good and bad, because that's what trials brings about. It's about challenges there, but you celebrate that because those perseverances that you go through builds up your character. And I think that we need to continue to do better as people in order to change the society, because everything's saying, oh, it's society from a society standpoint. No, we are to be ambassadors that represent in a society where we see that there's something that's not right, but We have to continue to do better and stop focusing on yourself and being selfish, but be selfless and think about us to say, hey, what is your point of view about this? Hey, I know as you talked about this. Hey, let's all come together to say, hey, man, let's all rally around this particular subject matter and let's bring this to fruition.
But I mean, it's not like back in the days when everybody used to listen. Nobody listens these days. Kids don't even listen to their parents.
Yeah.
It's kids raising kids these days. Now, I mean, ain't nobody really teaching them nothing out there. And I mean, it's kind of a shame, but I mean, most people, they doing stuff on their own from young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not to say you could really blame people like that.
Right, no, I don't either.
I mean, I know you don't. I mean, but like in general, some people think that everybody just want to do this lifestyle just like that. But I mean, it's what we grew up in to a degree. And I mean, there ain't really that much figures in society or, environment that's coming out saying like, yo, young brother.
Right.
You could go this route instead of going this route in here. And you could end up a better place or end up a different place doing this instead. You know what I mean? Everybody's following everybody. Everybody's watching TV. Everybody's watching the movies, the rap stars and everything. And they want that life.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want that fast lane and shit. Nobody thinking about nothing. You know what I mean? They're not thinking about if I do this, what's going to happen tomorrow? If I do this, how am I going to, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's going on.
I think what's lacking, I mean, there's two things that I believe that's been lackluster for quite some time. Number one is love. I mean, it's easy to hate somebody, and it's sad that it's easy to hate somebody you don't even know their name. How you going to hate somebody you don't even know who they are? How you going to hate somebody and you got to wall up against someone you don't even know? That's and it's getting to a point now that it's becoming normalized to people, and they desensitize that it's okay to act this way. And it's like, no, it's not. That's number one. And number two, mentorship, which you was talking about before, about having that discipleship where, you know, let's say someone had gone through some kind of a struggle. Let's say, for example, substance abuse or gang-related kind of activity, as per se. When you have that mentorship that can identify and can relate to what they have gone through, now the inclination of crimes being committed is going to be less. You know, the rate of kids being more inspired to, like, you know, go to school and learn something more productive, where they're not just learning something for its face value, but challenging something that's incorrect or that's inaccurate. You know, the rate of kids getting expelled or kids getting incarcerated will be less. But it comes down to unity. It comes down to investment. It comes down to mentorship to really show that, hey, you know what? Let me know what I'm dealing with. Let me know who you are. Let me know what you bring to the table. Let me know what's your reality. Even if I was unaffected by what you're going through, let me walk around somebody's shoe. I've always said before, if you want to know somebody, spend 5 years of their life, what they've gone through. And if you're not going to even do that, at least do this much of walk around somebody's shoe. If you're not willing to do that, I don't want to hear what you got to say. Because the minute you come across with condemnation, judgment, I'm going to rebuke that in the Lord's name, that you're no one to judge anybody. Because at one point or another, you on that side of the road of what it's like to live in an impoverished environment. You know what it's like to live on that one side where there was incarceration in your life. And now that you make it to a different side, to a better place, you need to save that one that is going down that destructive path.
Yeah. I mean, it goes like that. You check what I'm saying? But like just the way how things is hard, because a lot of people don't really have an identity of who they really is as a people. Because if we realize we was one, we unified as Africans, Americans, Hispanics, you know what I mean? We could come together in a whole different light of consciousness. But I mean, it's just how the world moving. Nobody really want to stay still and just listen and catch a vibration, the height for a second. Everybody just moving too fast. And they ain't really trying to hear what the next man's saying to them. They just want to react. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're basing off ideas of being emotional rather than being logical. Like, you have to sit down, or rather sit back, and you have to think as far as just really illuminating and fathoming what is going on in my life right now, and are you in a good place, or if you're not in a good place? Because right now, these are dark times that people are living in, and it seems like people like to live in the dark times. And I'm not saying that that's the end point, but there's people right now that they're living in dark times. But again, it's not those that live in dark times that's doing wrong or stays in that bubble, as per se. It's those who understand what it's like to live in dark time, and it's not bringing that resource to shed light. To me, that's more worse. It's someone that knows that something's wrong, and you stay muted or you acting different, like you don't care. You know better than those that's doing wrong.
I mean, that's true. That's some facts right there you just spoke just now. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? But it all comes to with the belief system as well, because our young cats these days, they got no kind of belief system at all.
Yeah.
And most people, not to say like this, so nobody to offend anybody, but they feel that if you're on a positive beat, that you gotta be a godly Christian guy. But at the end of the day, if you believe in the Most High, you're supposed to be a warrior, a soldier. And a soldier is a warrior who thinks and meditates and know how he controls himself to a degree. You know what I mean? You don't have to be like this, what people consider from the streets and stuff to be soft or punk or nothing like that, to speak positivity. Because one of the most greatest teachers out there, they had to learn from humble beginnings what it is to be. Just like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King and all of them, these guys taught us a lot of stuff. But I mean, this generation to a degree don't really reflect on the positivity that these guys do. And these guys were warriors. The Black Panthers, all these people was warriors.
I mean, you think about a lot of history involved, and you touched upon about their history involved. I remember like it was so historical, and it still is, but it comes back to connection. I mean, you think about, you know, the Thurgood Marshall, you think about the Luis Marin, you think about the Miguel Piñeros, you know what I mean? You think about the Jackie Robinsons, the Roberto Clementes. You got a lot of guys, Harriet Tubman, you got Maya Angelou. I mean, you got a lot of people that were influential in a way that they brought about some kind of change. some kind of way to facilitate a better way to go about something that could be going down in a destructive manner if you're not being careful as far as how you cultivate your maturity and have that respect for authority. So my point that I'm saying is that we all have a job to do, I believe, in my opinion, to you know, mentor these young men and women to say, look, don't become what you despise. You know, don't be what you don't let your parents that is not influential to you, because there's parents that hasn't been influential to kids. Don't be in that position where parents raise to be someone that they hate. You know what I mean? You have to be in a position to help young people to say, look, don't become a product of your environment, but let the environment become a product of you, because you knew where you came from, and you be able to inspire to say, look, in spite of what I had going on, that doesn't define me. I define how I persevere through that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man, it's not about being judgmental per se. And I believe that people who are, let's say, for example, godly people need to be the example of, because anyone can say, oh, I'm godly, I'm Christian. No, anyone can say that. But are you living it? Because I said this before. People that say all types of claims are being watched by who? The watchers. So if you're being watched by the watchers and you're not living that life, not saying perfection because you make mistakes in itself, but when you say something and you're not living it, they're going to catch you out there, they're going to call you out on that, and it makes you look like a hypocrite. So all I'm saying is that, you know, everyone goes through different struggles. Everyone goes through different, you know, challenges there as far as their walk of life. But what are you doing to encourage? What kind of connection are you leading them to? What kind of opportunities are you bringing about to them to say, look, man, you know, you can do better, but this is a way. And you show them different platforms and different mediums. Like, I'm a living witness to say that I've been around with kids for over 2 decades. And when I used to work in Job Corps, you know, there was kids from Bridgeport out there slinging drugs and being gay mouths. Look, that's not who you are. Is that who you want to become? What is your legacy that you want people to that you want to leave behind you, so that when they see your face, they know who you are, and they want to know what they remembered you for. You know what I mean? So when I was challenging them about opportunities, they said, oh man, Job Corps, yeah, I want to get involved in that. And these kids have made it. So there's no excuses to say there's no solutions to go about dealing with certain matters. You know what I mean? So listen, it's all about that time. So I just want to just wind this down and say this. Folks, we're not here to try to convince one another. We're not here doing none of that. We're not here telling you guys you better do this or else. But what we're just doing is conveying ideas to say that there are different ways out, that there are outlets out there. You know, when you talk about substance abuse out there, they have programs like Teen Challenges, Pivot Ministry. They have, you know, all these different clinical programs out there to address these substance abuse issues at hand. You know, you're talking about community centers out there because there's nothing for kids to do. Get involved in community centers. Get involved in these Boys and Girls Clubs. So the point that I'm saying is that, the point that I'm saying is that there's solutions. You just got to plug into it and be able to network with other people to bring perspective to say, look, man, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You don't got to live your life in dark times. Stop living in dark times and expect a different outcome if you remain in that same place. So with that being said, folks, once again, I ask you guys humbly, Please subscribe, like, and share to UDR Productions Go Love Team. Support your boy MVP, Most Valuable Poet. And listen, we're going to do part 2. We're going to be right back. Out.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, that's dope, man. That's what it's all about. It's about giving people a lending voice to just speak up and speak out, and just bringing that perspective. You know what I mean? And I just want folks to be themselves. Once again, folks, you listen to part 2 of MVP, Most Valuable Poet. Shout out to my boy Simba. He's over here just, parlaying, just, dropping ideas and jewels. And once again, I want to give a shout out to Murphy's Law. If you guys want some rasta pasta, some seafood, some fine wine, Murphy's Law's the spot. I want to give a shout out to the staff for just giving this opportunity for us to be out here to just bring that positivity as far as the love, the energy, and the inspiration. So, with that being said, I want to do a part 2. And I just want to just have this conversation with you and definitely bring your perspective. And there's been a lot of conversation on the news within the last, I would say, about 48 hours. But that's been like the highlight of this part. But this whole conversation about the whole vaccine, and like I said, I'm not gonna come at y'all like I'm a certified doctor. I'm not, and we're not trying to come across like with these terminologies as far as with ideas about something that I don't have experience in that profession as per se. But there's something about it that does intrigue me, and I just kind of laugh at that and I scoff at that. But this whole vaccine, and I'm gonna just say it like this. I'm gonna just kick it off by saying this. I know the media, I know even job professions are trying to infuse this idea and notion that although it's not mandatory to take this COVID-19 vaccination, but it's highly recommended. And they try to emphasize the highly recommendation for you to take it. I'm gonna tell you my response. I'm not taking it. And the conversation, there's no ifs, ands, or maybes. And it might offend people and say, well, then that's on you. Yeah, that's on me. Because guess what? I'm protected by the blood of the Lord. So I'm good. Because let me tell you something. Sometime back, I took a flu vaccine shot like a couple of years ago. And I got more sick. So I'm not going through that again. No way, no how. That's not happening. No way, no how. And I'm not taking no vaccine shot that's going to have some kind of chemicals that's going to have that kind of detrimental effect on my body, my heart, my mind, my soul. Nope, not happening. No way, no how. So I'm going to start by saying that. Now, my brother, share your thoughts about it, and let's kick it from there.
Man.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, man.
To be honest with you, man, this is one of the stickiest topics of the century right now. You heard it, man. The coronavirus vaccine.
Right. Well, elaborate that. In what sense elaborate more in terms of in what sense you're coming from.
Yeah, because there's a lot of conspiracies and theories about and the perception about this coronavirus vaccine, right? Based on past studies and past experiments they had on people back in the days, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, me personally,
yes,
I don't want a vaccine. I don't want a vaccine. I don't want my child to have the vaccine. I don't really want my family to have the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, when you really look at it, how I feel the government will try some way, shape, or form to implement in our daily life that we might need this vaccine to get back to our daily life. And me, for a fact, I don't care about society and life on a whole, you hear that, man? I could live in the hills. I've done it before.
Listen, I look at it this way too. I've seen people smiling on camera, on TV, like Mike Pence and all these other officials and all these other folks sticking their arms out there and smiling and getting shot with that vaccine. Listen, man, and I'm not going to assume that it's a front. I'm not going to assume that, listen, that it could be a front. Because like I said, they're not even saying what's in that whole vaccine in itself. So the fact that's not even been elaborated and been specified and been disseminated as far as what's in that vaccine in itself, that brings concerns in itself. Why should someone take it? But they're trying to highlight this idea that although it's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended. They're trying to persuade people that if you don't take it, you don't have a job. If you don't take it, well, your kid can't go to school. Nah, no, because guess what? I've seen people that took vaccine shot and they're not looking the same. So what do you tell them? What do you tell them? That everything's gonna be okay? No, tell that to those people that lost their lives. Over 300,000 people that lost their lives because of COVID.
But that's the thing about the vaccines as well, because legally nobody can sue the vaccine company that made the vaccine if they get any kind of sickness, any kind of disability from it. They are legally obstructed from getting any kind of lawsuits against them, because we don't really know what's in the vaccine.
Right.
Nobody really knows. Probably the scientists don't even know themselves what inside the vaccine.
I don't think doctors even know 100% what's in it. They just say, oh, it's safe. According to who?
To who?
To who?
To the first people that took it, probably.
Because they're trying to create this facade that's because I'm in the forefront, I'm on national live TV, that is safe.
Nah, man.
That's not to say, that's not 100%. That's not, who's to say that's accurate? It's not accurate to me.
Right. They say the 9 worst words you could hear ever in your lifetime is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. And I believe that to the max, man. Because at the end of the day, right, you gotta look at this, you gotta go back to the beginning a little bit, right? Just a little bit, couple months back. Our president said he contracted the virus, right? Our president is what they say legally obese or whatever. He's in his 70s, I believe, or so, right?
Yeah.
And he got the vaccine. He got. They said he had coronavirus, and within 2-3 days he was out the hospital. He had no hard symptoms, and he wasn't even asymptomatic.
No, it wasn't.
You see what I'm saying?
That was reported, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't asymptomatic.
No, he was not asymptomatic.
Texas is like, if you can't even trust the system that has the leader in charge governing the community and the society and stuff, how am I supposed to just trust this vaccine that just came out when he probably didn't even have the freaking virus, and he trying to make us feel he took it? So hey, I'm good. Vote for me. I'm good.
Oh, like I said, man, I've always said this before. What's done in the dark will come to light. And like I said, for all the misconceptions, for all the misconstrued, for all the lies and the false representation, like I said, God will expose you for who you really are.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, when it's time for me to go, and the Lord say, you know what, son, it's time for you to go home, it's because of his terms, not because of man-made's term, not because of no injection of no needle, not because of no theory, because that means absolutely nothing to me, because that's asinine and it's blasphemous. So that's just my opinion about that. And like I said, the way the world is now, is so upside down, inside out, crooked, inside out. And it's like you're trying to infiltrate and force feed with something that you're not even sure that's accurate in itself. And you don't even know that's safe in itself. But you want to sit there and pose that to people. Man, they need to miss me with that, man.
Yeah, man.
They need to miss me with that. Because like I said, I'm not taking it. So if it offends people, all right, so be it. And I'm not going to judge if you're taking it. That's your choice. I'm not going to sit there and tell you. I'm not going to tell you not take it or take it. I'm just saying personally, I'm not going to take it. And correct me if I'm wrong. I know you say you're not going to take it either. So,
either, man.
You know what I mean? Like I said, man, I believe that these are fundamental habits that we was brought up as kids. And what I mean by that is that, let's say when you use the bathroom, your mom and dad always tell you, wash your hands, use soap and water, make sure you cleanse yourself, make sure like when you go outside playing sports, you get dirty, take your shower, make sure you clean it up. Why does the government have to tell you, wash your hands when you come out the bathroom? To me, that's a disgrace.
Yeah.
And that's inhumane for people to have that instilled to them by the government. That to me is offensive, it's insulting, and that's disgraceful.
But then you gotta look at it that they say at the same point too, right? They say, yeah, they created the vaccine. The vaccine is 95% safe. So what happened to the other 5% that could mess you up? Because even with the flu vaccine, you could get the flu vaccine and still catch the flu.
People got more sick with the flu vaccine. That's what I'm saying. Like I did it one time a few years ago. Never again. I got more sick off that than just without it. So,
and then you gotta look at that. The people know they're saying that it's safe to a degree, right? And then all these people know that have been taking it since they made it legal, the FDA made it legal and stuff like that to emergency release and stuff, right? Now they're having adverse effects. So you're trying to tell me before you made it legal and stuff, you never knew from all those people that you tested months back that it gives adverse effects on the people, or you just learning certain effects now since you started testing it on people in real life now? Check what I'm trying to say, man?
Yeah, I know, I do understand. And and I think the bottom line is that this is supposed to have been prevented. And people making it seem like that, the COVID just happened. There's been disease that came up before that. West Nile virus, Ebola, anthrax, and it was being counteracted because people was listening in and paying attention to what was happening at that particular point in time, and they took the seriousness of it as far as how deadly it can be. That's why during that time, a lot of folks didn't get sick of that. But I'm saying with this whole COVID, we all know who's in the White House. And I'm not trying to get political because I don't care about which side you pick on. I'm just saying do the right thing as far as understanding how the country's being governed. There's too many arguments about I'm Democrat, I'm Republican, I'm Independent. It don't matter. I'm with Batman, I'm with Superman. I don't care. It don't matter. What does it matter what side you on? Like that kills me. It's like people are arguing about which side you on. It don't matter which side you on. That's not the defining moment. The defining moment is what is going on at hand. And does that become beneficial to us? That's going to help us be more healthier in that sense, or it's going to be more detrimental. So if you're seeing that if it's not being done right in terms of the detriment of how deadly it could be, it can kill us easily.
Because you gotta look at it from a standpoint too as well. What has the government ever given us that's been good for us, or naturally healthy for us?
Grief.
You guys told me.
Grief and corruption. If you ask me,
it hasn't been enough. So America gives everything that is unnatural to our human bodies to break us down so we can go to hospital sick so they can make money from insurance. It's a money-making business. They don't give nothing to us to heal us. If they don't put something in our food, a necessity to make us live, a necessity or water to make us live, why you think a vaccine will have something necessity in it for us to live inside of it?
And think of it like this too. Look how expensive the medical insurance is. They don't cover all like they supposed to.
Man.
So imagine, God forbid, you get sick and you're in the hospital. You're thinking that, okay, medical cover is going to cover, the expenses in itself. But then next thing you know, a week, 2 weeks later, you get a bill saying you owe like $1,000. I'm like, dang, hold up, I thought I was covered.
I'm telling you.
And to your point, it is a money-making business in that regard. And it's like, man, do you really have that kind of indifferent way of mentality that you're not trying to help people overcome who are vulnerably medically ill? Whether it's someone that's diabetic, whether it's someone that has heart issues, whether it's someone that has any kind of like arthritis and so forth. I mean, come on, man. And this is what you're trying to portray? Nah, this like I said, this system is not made to be broken. It's corrupted. But until folks, and we was talking about this earlier, until folks galvanize and rally around each other and say, wait a minute, we need to address this in a more sufficient manner and really come together to address something that has been affecting us as a community, then guess what? We're no better than those who's doing wrong in itself.
I mean, that is true. That's some facts right there.
Yeah,
I ain't even
absolutely.
from, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like to the end of the day, sometimes, even when people try to speak out against it, they end up go missing, they end up being locked up, feds up in their bank accounts and trying to see what they did or something, you know what I mean? It's like, it's always something blocking the people who's trying to really help you to go further, something blocking them going back, you know what I mean?
If you look at it this way, like what Dr. Martin Luther King did, what Reverend Martin Luther King did, he addressed, for example, racism among blacks and whites. And it was effective when there was people rounding around them to say, okay, we're going to go through summer and go across that bridge. But it was not effective even more until those who were unaffected by the racism said, wait a minute, this is wrong here. These are people just like we are. And they all joined together. And guess what? You got legs moving. It's like what Jackie Robinson did when he was playing baseball. Going through racism because they saw a black man knocking down walls, breaking down walls to say, wait a minute, we're just people like you are. Why are you treating us with such inferiority like we have no place? And we do. But guess what? Those who are unaffected say, wait a minute, time out, this is wrong. They are brothers just like we are. And we have to come together. So this is no different in that way. There's a lot of things going on in our society that's wrong, but people are too either afraid to speak up, or they just want to just be indifferent where they just don't care and just have this, well, it is what it is
Just go with the
mentality.
flow,
Nah,
go with the
if
flow.
that's your mentality, stay on that. But you're not gonna bring that kind of energy to my life because, like I
Sometimes
said,
you
it's all
gotta
about
be a
solutions.
rebel. Sometimes you gotta be a rebel against society, man. You can't just go with the flow. I mean, they might want to lock you up, call you crazy and everything, but who else? Who cares though,
Well,
man?
look what Paul did when he was preaching the gospel. He got locked up. The book of Acts about how he got arrested. He's like, man, all right, you want to lock me up? Lord, I need you. Father God, you are my everything. Lord, I need you. You're my Lord and Savior. Why he was in jail? You think he got beaten up for that? Of course he did. John the Baptist got beheaded because he was preaching the gospel. So the point is that you have to be bold to speak up against the oppression of unrighteousness. And these are examples of people who did that. And guess what? They suffered, but they didn't care.
But they
But
say-
they point God across.
Yeah, 'cause just like they say, if you don't stand for nothing,
You will fall for anything. Right. I agree.
Yeah. That's how society is. I mean, that's how it is right now in the world and stuff. Because I mean, how they got us on these lockdowns here, lockdowns there. Like everybody trying to get back to this reality that they thought they had when it was all living in the matrix kind of lifestyle and shit, just doing this and doing this without thinking to a degree, not conscious. You know what I mean? Now everybody locked down and shit, and now the only thing that can make you think that you get to trying to make you feel for you to get back to a better life. Take this vaccine. You'll be alright.
Yeah, that's what they say. Like I already told you my response. I'm not taking it. I'm not gonna influence the brothers in the back that's playing pool. I hope they don't do it, but if they do, that's their choice. Dog, bro, you're my homeboy. I hope you're not taking it. You're my homeboy. Alright, he made it clear. He's like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So listen, bottom line is that in order to really facilitate a better movement, it's about education. We have to better educate ourselves. We have to educate each other. We have to highlight on what's happening around us to say, okay, what are you bringing to the table? What is your knowledge of what you know about this subject matter? Okay, this is what I bring to the table. This is the subject matter that I know about it. Okay, let's collaborate to say, let's bring this to the forefront.
But it's,
Go ahead.
it's just like the mRNA that they're saying inside a picture of vaccine and stuff that goes in and make the spike protein in your body and stuff that are engineered, that it goes inside your body and tells it to make a certain protein and all these different stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, you could think what you want to think, but I personally think that they could do anything they want to do and tweak it however they want to while that shit is inside your system. Whether it's sterilize you, that the females or black queens can't get pregnant, sterilize of kings, that our sperm count goes down or whatever. You know what I mean? Anything can be done with that vaccine once it hits inside your system, and there's no reversing that. There's no reversing it, guys.
They didn't talk about
no
cure.
reversing
They're saying that that's a cure in itself, but let's say that's not even a cure. They want the cure for, let's say a person. Let's just say, for example, I'm not gonna call nobody out because what your decision is your choice. But I'm just saying is that for someone that took the vaccine shot, let's just say, you don't know if that's it's curable or not, and let's say if that's not curable and it does more damage, then what's the cure for that? They hadn't even thought about that. They hadn't even had a backup plan. They had a plan B. So that's what I'm saying, man. Listen, man. And I'm gonna say this, man. The world that we live in right now, stop letting people in the world force feed you with nonsense, with blasphemy. Stop letting them force feed you with ideas that has nothing to do with the actual truth. Stop letting them force feed you with something that you know in your heart of all hearts that is wrong. Because right now there's a lot of unrighteousness. So we have to seek the righteousness of God. We gotta seek the truth, and we have to speak up and speak out against the issue that's going on at hand itself, man. Because this is like I said before. I think it's getting to a point now that everybody's just, as you were saying before, just going with the flow. Let's just tag along. Let's just be puppets, be orchestrated by the puppet monsters tagging us along. Nah,
like
kill
nobody
that, man.
really questioning it.
Right.
Nobody even question why the president, who's an old ass dude in his 70s, who they say is obese, why he was never had no adverse effects or nothing. Nobody questioning shit. Nobody. He just popped out the next day. Hey, I'm good. I took some steroids. I took some vaccine. Y'all gonna get the same thing I got. No, he ain't. You the president.
Right. And listen, man. This is why this topic today was called Real Talk Part 2, because like I said, man. Listen. We're not trying to influence y'all to go down a certain road. We're just speaking what we believe. We're just speaking what we know. It's not about going back and forth. We're just taking the message to the forefront. And like I said, man, we're just speaking from the heart. With that being said, folks, once again, subscribe, like, and share. UDR Productions Go Love Team. Support your boy MVP, most valuable poet. Listen, this ain't about me. This is about glorifying my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is about glorifying God, first and foremost, because He's the head of all things. And if we're not conveying the truth, His truth, then how are we going to go further in life? Like I said, it's not about debates. But ask yourself this question, and I want you guys to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what do you really see? So with that being said, think about it. So with that being said, folks, we love you guys. God bless you guys. Stay warm, stay safe. We're going to go ahead and get to next time. Peace and blessings. Out. How you feel, B? It was dope?
Alright, man.
That was dope? Yeah, man. Yeah, that was dope. That was dope, man. Like I said, man, that's what it's all about, man. It's just about giving people a powerful voice to just speak up and speak out and bring a message to the forefront.
Yeah.
And like I said, I know folks might get offended, but you know what?
Yes, indeed, y'all. Yes, indeed. Welcome to UDR Productions. Please like, subscribe, and share. It doesn't cost you nothing to subscribe, so we can keep bringing you guys all this good content from prayer to streets. UDR Productions. Let's go and let's get it.